In 1898, during the construction of the railway in East Africa, something unsettling began to happen. In the Tsavo region of Kenya, two lions began hunting in a way that was unusual at the time. And they didn't just attack once, they returned again and again, entering the camps at night and taking workers without warning. What happened next would slow down an entire railway project and leave behind one of the most chilling wildlife stories in history. This is the true story of the Tsavo man-eaters. At the time, the British were building the Uganda Kenyan Railway, a major project meant to connect the coastal city of Mombasa to the inland regions. To make this happen, thousands of workers, many from India, were brought in to lay tracks across the tough and unfamiliar terrain. When the railway reached Tsavo, workers set up camp near the river and continued construction. And that is when the attacks began. At first, one worker went missing at night, and then another person went missing. And then it happened again and again. And then it became clear that the lions were coming into the camp, taking people, and then disappearing into the surrounding wilderness. What stood out was how consistent these attacks were. The lions didn't seem bothered by human presence or fire or any sort of other protective barriers in place. As a result, fear spread quickly, and many people refused to go to work and continue the railway project. A British officer named John Henry Patterson was assigned to deal with this matter. In fact, his first responsibility was making sure that this railway project was progressing. But that was hard, right? So he tried several methods, including setting up traps, building elevated platforms, using bait. But the lions avoided all of them, and it took months before he was able to track the first lion and kill it. The first lion was shot and wounded in the hind leg, but escaped. Later, it returned and started stalking Patterson. During that encounter, he shot it again, this time through the shoulder, with the bullet hitting its heart. The next morning, the lion was found dead, close to his platform. The second lion was much harder to kill. Patterson fired several shots over several encounters. He used different rifles. Some shots were fired from his scaffolding, others at close range because the lion continued to move through the area. In total, the second lion was shot several times before finally taking a shot to the chest and the head and dying. The exact number of people who were killed by the lions is still being debated today. According to Patterson's earlier records, he mentioned over 100 people were killed. But modern researchers say that that number wasn't as high, and it was actually down to about 28. Because records at the time were not always complete, especially for local workers, we may never know what the exact number was. Researchers spent many years trying to understand why these lions behaved in this manner. One major factor was likely a disease called rinderpest, which wiped out a large number of animals in the region. With less natural prey available, the lions probably just decided to go for humans. Another factor could have been injuries. One of the lions had a dental injury, which may have made it difficult to hunt their usual prey. Another factor could have been increased human activity that was disrupting their natural environment. And then once the lions started to attack the humans, they realized it was so much easier and they just continued. And once they started attacking humans, they may have thought it was so much easier than hunting their usual prey and just continued hunting humans. After the lions were killed, naturally, the attacks ended. The workers gradually began to return to Tsavo, so construction continued, and the Uganda-Kenya Railway was completed. And this railway becoming the key route connecting the coast to inland East Africa. That railway still exists today, and parts of it are still in use in modern-day Kenya. And you may be asking yourself, what happened to the lions after they were killed? Well, Patterson kept their skulls as trophies and used their skin as foot rugs for 25 years. before selling it to the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago for $5,000 in either 1924 or 1925. The story of the Tsavo man-eaters is still chilling, even today, not just because of what happened, but because it reminds us how the balance between nature and humans can shift at any time. In a place where people came to build and expand, they were forced to face something far less predictable. And more than a century later, the event at Tsavo is a chilling reminder that nature doesn't always follow our expectations. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, thank you, and thank you. Go ahead and leave us a comment, share your thoughts on this story. If you think I missed anything out, please feel free to put that in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And until next time, as we share more stories that connect us closer to our roots, goodbye.